November. Can we have a roll call, please?
Ms. Cobo,
Present.
Mr. Each,
Present.
Ms. Geimer,
Present.
Mr. McDermott,
Present?
Mr. Reynolds,
Here.
Mr. Sanchez,
Here.
Ms. Couch.
Here.
We have quorum.
Okay. All right. Can we begin with the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I so move. Second.
Okay, any discussion on it? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, being that we are going to lose one of our committee members, we're going to switch the agenda items around a little bit. So can we begin with agenda item number 1?
Yes. And agenda item number 2 will be the last one.
Right,
Okay.
okay.
Agenda item number 1. As you know, part of our interlocal agreement with the county is to dedicate 10% of our revenues towards housing, redevelopment, and low-income housing. Before you is a proposal, and this amount was already in our CRA budget that was approved at the October meeting. We are proposing to transfer $549,440 to rehabilitate additional single-family homes and to support other housing initiatives through the city's housing department. Last fiscal year, we funded 59 homes, rehab homes, in an amount not to exceed $1,190,000. Additionally, we fund half a housing inspector and we fund half a housing coordinator. Unfortunately, today, Marie Jean Ferrens, the housing coordinator, her daughter, she was called from school. She has a fever. There's apparently another round of illnesses going around, so she was not able to make it.
Okay.
But I can send you guys an email when she comes back with, because she was going to present to you an update on the housing that we've already done and funding per district, because we have 4 districts.
Right.
So we're using the city's housing guideline. I want to refresh your memory. It's up to $20,000 for a single family home. You have to be owner occupied, have homestead exemption. Priority is given to seniors, low income, veterans. Is to do roofs, windows, landscaping, painting, repairs, life safety issues, handicap issues as needed. So they have already started that part. One of the delays was getting a roll of contractors for their bid, and the procurement department facilitated that. So now they have a pool of contractors that they're just now assigning these projects to. I and Gail McDonald, our grants coordinator, will be doing a site visit like right before Thanksgiving to see how it's going, and I'll have some pictures and so on and so forth. But I just wanted to mention to you that the previous funding amount that you gave, it has funded 59 homes already. With this pot, which is $549,440, $220,000 out of that will be set aside for just the remainder of the single-family rehab that we're committed to doing as per interlocal. It was in one of our benchmarks to do by 2024. That means we'll have reached 70 low-income homes, and the rest of it, which is about 300,000 and change, the mayor and council with the housing recommendation will look at either doing additional single-family rehab or first-time home buying or emergency assistance programs. So when they come up with that, we'll bring it to you. But right now in front of you is the request to transfer these funds to the housing division so they can start working on this fiscal year's initiatives. All right?
So all of the properties are already chosen?
Well, for not the new pot of money. The old pot of money, that's when, the district commissioners decided how to do it. Some of them had community workshops at the Griffin Center. Some of them had it through, you just come in through the housing department, depending on the district. It was determined that way. Our main concern is it has to stay within the CRA, our geographic restrictions. So that's how we've been working with the city's housing division on that. So this new pot of money, they have not determined how it will be distributed. I think Councilman Dizume the other day had
Workshop.
a workshop, and he had
Right.
changed, like, I think it was like now a lottery or not. I'm not sure how they're doing it, to be honest with you,
Okay, so there's
and I'll
not,
get it.
There's not a lot of restrictions.
For ours, the only real restriction is the geographic boundary.
Oh,
We're not like HUD, whatever the guideline is that was approved, that I had presented to you in 2017,
Right.
that the council had approved, that's what we are implementing. Our real main
We're a lot
restriction
more-
is geographic.
We're a lot more flexible.
We're a lot more flexible
Mm-hmm.
than HUD and so on and so forth.
Documentation and stuff.
The priority, again, is given to low-income seniors, veterans, handicap, and just focusing on the larger ticket items, impact windows and doors, the roof, and so on and so forth.
Okay, any further questions? I'd like to entertain a motion that we approve the transfer of the $549,440.
I so move.
Do I second?
a second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We're going to skip over agenda item 2 so that hopefully another committee member can be here. So we're going to talk in reference to an attraction grant
Yes.
from Lost City Brewing.
Yes. Okay, trying to see if Mary texted, because we seem to be moving fast. All right, before you is a grant request, business attraction grant request from Lost City Brewing Company. They're located at 12207 Northeast 13th Court in North Miami. Lost City Brewing Company will produce high-quality, innovative, fresh craft beer for the local and distributed through regional distributors. They're leasing about 4,000 square feet, 1,000 square feet for the tasting area, and 3,000 square feet for the production area, with seating for less than 50 for a custom constructed brewery. The brewery will not produce or serve food on the premises yet. However, they will contract with local restaurants that have agreed to deliver to the brewery for food services. This will allow local businesses to gain an extra revenue source while providing food options to the brewery patrons. The scope of work includes interior and exterior paint, electrical, plumbing and mechanical upgrades, interior remodeling, tile flooring installation, security installation, along with ADA compliant restrooms. The total cost of the project is $555,993.62. The applicant the lowest bidded amount for the construction is $259,951. The applicant is requesting $300,000. The advisory committee, if you wish to consider this request, you would need to do the following. One, waive the $150,000 grant maximum allowed for a business attraction grant guidelines, and also waive the 50-50 match requirement, because this would be a little bit more than the 50% as we do. And also, the applicant has provided a community benefits letter. You would need to review and approve the community benefits that they're proffering. I'm gonna read the letter for the record, so give me 1 second. All right. They are proposing, after year 2 of being operational, they will hire residents from within the boundaries of the city of North Miami at a rate of a minimum of 3 positions per year, up to 10 positions by year 5. These positions will be part-time and will provide opportunities for workers to train, grow, and receive promotion within the company. Additionally, they will extend their expertise, knowledge, and experiences in opening and operating a business with the future, current, and aspiring entrepreneurs of North Miami. This aid would be in the form of seminars and workshops provided to the North Miami community and in conjunction with the North Miami CRA. We will build and foster relationships with FIU and Johnson & Wales universities by hiring and training interns in the varying skills needed to run a microbrewery and manage a tasting room. This relationship will endeavor to ensure that graduates from both university programs apply these newly acquired skills in businesses within the North Miami community. And they intend to be a partner with the North Miami CRA and the city in future activities and events. So before you is the Lost City Brewery, and the owners are here. Mr. Chris Campos, who's the COO,
Good evening.
is here
Chris.
to answer any questions you might have. The item before you again requires, because our business attraction grant is capped at 150,000. Anything above that, you would need to waive, our existing guidelines to allow for this. And like I said, the community benefits that they're offering is stated here. So you would need to also accept that as part of, your approval of this grant. If you have any questions, Mr. Campos is here, and he's also participating in the NOMI Brewfest, yes?
Yes.
Yes,
we'll be
so
here
they
on
are
the
one of
10th.
the 35 breweries that are involved. Questions, comments?
Okay. Go ahead, Chris, you want
Sure. So we have some renderings here for you this evening.
to, okay?
So,
No.
so
He has aid right there. They can stand and hold. Thank you.
So we have the outside of what Lost City Brewing Company is going to look like at 12207 Northeast 13th Court. And this image is an image of behind the bar with some items for sale. We have another image from in front of the bar. This is if you're looking from the main entrance. And now looking from the opposite end. You start to see some of the brewing equipment. Here's a close-up of that brewing equipment. So this is what we hope to be opening for you soon.
The total project cost,
It's 555.
555, what is the additional cost other than the construction?
So the construction, if,
It's in there.
yes.
Is it in there?
Yeah,
Yes.
Did I miss it?
yes.
Or is it?
It's right after their community benefits letter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, keep going. Keep going.
Oh, I see. Okay, all the brewing materials.
Yes.
Yes.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, and additionally, part of their DERM impact fees and partial rent. As you know, under the business attraction grant, we allow them to pay partial of their DERM impact fees and half their rent for the first 6 months during renovation. So if you look at the costs, you'll see that it's not just the hard costs, it's also
Right, I see.
those costs, okay?
How many different types of beer are you going to?
So we have beers that we're going to be serving year-round. We'll have about 4 that we serve year-round. And then we'll have beers that we produce seasonally. Currently, our portfolio of beers that we brew ranges around 12 to 15, although you'll see probably, I'd say, lifetime, most breweries produce 30 different types over the course of their existence. Of course, not all are offered year-round. It depends on, one thing we want to do is, of course, use seasonal materials. So due to the restraints of when things are grown and where they're grown, certain beverages will only be available quarterly.
You've done this before.
So we've been working on opening a brewery since 2011. I've worked in a brewery in Panama. I've also worked in a brewery in Colombia, as is Daniel here. He's also worked in Wynwood as well. Yes. So this is a project that we've been involved with for many years now. And gaining experience. He's also gone to Siebel, or taken online courses from Siebel, which is a brewing school in Chicago as well.
Chris, how long do you think the construction is going to take?
So once the building permit is granted, we should be ready to go probably, I'd say safely. The estimates say about 4 months. I'd say safely 6 months. I mean, as with anything, I'm sure as you're experiencing the plaza, unexpected delays come up. But I would say safely about 6 months. The longest part of the process we've already secured, which is our federal brewer's notice. So the federal government's already given us the go-ahead to go ahead and brew. That part usually takes 2 to 9 months, and that's the part usually holds up most breweries from opening. So we went ahead and did that early. The other part, long part of the process, we're wrapping up. Right now, we're working on getting our permit through county. And we've already submitted and resubmitted several times and going back and forth. So right now, we're just having one last meeting to make sure it's going to get approved this time when it gets submitted. And hopefully, a month from later this week, it should finally be approved by county. So.
Okay. All right, Kenny, you had a question?
One, you can't go into business, you said, until you get the federal government approval?
Yes, and we already have that.
Okay, you have that? Or
Yes, we have that.
Okay. And then we're waiting for the county now, correct?
Yes. And then once we have the facility built out, the state has to come by and inspect it. Although, because we have our federal permit to brew already in line,
It's like a restaurant.
that process, I'm told, should take only a few weeks.
It's like a restaurant.
Yeah.
So you have to do the building first, and then you hope you get the approval from the county?
Not hope. It's approval
just
from
the
the county
permitting.
to start construction. And then once we're open, once we've built it out, a few weeks for the state to grant us the permit to go ahead and start brewing.
The other question I have is, food. Why aren't we serving food?
So food is a,
Why don't the
yeah.
food is gonna come in and drink
It's-
beer, is that the whole game?
yes, this is a concept which is quite popular around the country. A full production brewery with its own tasting room.
And
So,
we bring food trucks.
yes, we.
And relationships. That's how they do it. They bring food trucks and other restaurants to participate.
Exactly.
So they focus on the beer aspect, and then they have the food delivered, or a food truck comes in and services their clientele. That's how they've done it in some areas in Wynwood and other areas.
And that saves them from, all the regulations and equipment and
extra-
everything else that,
And the cost.
you don't have to worry about grease traps and all kinds of other
Exactly.
derm-related,
Additional
yeah.
things.
Yeah, I was reading an article the other day in the Wall Street Journal about breweries, and they're up against the wall, losing business. And that really serves me right, it was a couple of weeks ago. But today, the millennials and everybody are kind of skating away from beer and going more to cocktails and more to healthy drinks. And I think Anheuser-Busch, which was bought by a Belgian company now, sales are down worldwide, so forth and so on. And,
But I doubt the craft?
Yeah.
well, let me finish.
Oh, okay.
Before you hang me.
Yeah.
The other thing that I did say is, the sales are down is because of the small micro breweries now and little neighborhood, breweries coming into existence.
Yep, very popular.
And that's digging away at the overall sales picture of the largest brewer in the world now, which is Belgium, something like that.
Anheuser-Busch, how
But
about
I'm up in the air with this. I just can't, well, God bless you. I mean, people can go in and drink beer, that's great, but I thought you would wanna have food with it also. I know there's that place up in Hallandale, that's at the racetrack. where they
Yard
got-
House,
Oh,
the Yard House.
Yard House, where
Yeah.
they got,
That's a big restaurant.
Yeah.
I mean, a big operation, all kinds of beer and food and so forth and so
No,
on.
I go to a distillery and a wine tasting place, they're all together, and they bring in food trucks. I mean, it's pretty common.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just saying, hey, we're looking at, how much of a total investment, as the taxpayers' money going into this?
They're asking for 300,000.
300 grand.
Mhm.
That's a lot of money going into a restaurant or a brewery that is serving food.
But, I
have
mean,
a question.
okay.
Go ahead.
No,
All right. Okay, Kenny, you had a
Brewing
comment?
is the only thing that you will be doing. You will not jump like a lot of people now with the legalization of marijuana,
No,
and you will be selling and smoking there.
no.
To be sure. I ask the question.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
well, that's,
Why
you're-
not?
You could always put a stipulation,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a little close to
that
my
you
house.
don't, you can't smoke marijuana and at their facility.
would you
If
be,
you get the permit, yes.
Smoke?
would you be open to that
Not
stipulation
smoke.
that?
Yes.
Like they- having them
Okay.
restrict somebody
All right,
to
so they're gonna stipulate
Smoking.
that, you know,
distribute- yeah.
that the cannabis is not gonna be a
Sell,
part of their
because-
product or service, correct?
That's correct.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Yes.
I thi-
Oh, that's probably
Okay.
illegal.
I
isn't
think,
it?
I think that we have a covenant to that effect in all our, we're gonna go on a going forward basis in all our grant agreements, especially with like Comprehensive Health Center, which, you know, we may or may not want to have a marijuana dispensary. I forget if that was part of their,
It is part of the agreement that our funds are not going towards that.
right, and we've done that in other CRAs as well. So
Okay.
it's just be a
Okay.
standard restrictive covenant in the grant agreement.
Okay, all right.
I just had one
But just-
question for staff. Do we have a copy of the lease agreement?
Yes,
Yes, we
I
do.
provided a copy of the
Okay.
lease agreement,
All
so
right,
it should,
Take a look at that.
it should
Yeah.
be,
Okay.
It's in there.
I use,
Have we, since we adopted new guidelines for grants, have we, ever, overstepped them before? at
Well,
this point?
Dr. Moise's
Oh, yeah, that's
CHC
right.
was the one and the wave, so in December, I'm
Right,
bringing you the
right,
new guidelines that
Right.
will allow for larger scale projects. So this is one that's, the other one,
yeah,
but yeah, so
And-
Dr. Moise was the only one, after we created the new guidelines, that went over.
right. And the great benefit of this is gonna regenerate that neighborhood where it's at. So, which is down by the, right,
Train tracks.
right by the train tracks.
It's 13th Avenue, that you're parallel with the tracks there.
13th Court, yes, we're going to be just east of the train
122.
tracks.
Yes, it's just east of the,
122nd.
So you're gonna be east of the tracks?
Just east.
east.
It's,
You-
it's
The
right
other
on
one is just
14th,
west of the track.
Mhm.
I thought it just.
and it curves in.
Oh,
West of the tracks?
Just west of, just west of the tracks would be 13th Avenue, I believe.
right,
13th Court is east,
Is- And 13th Avenue is
13th
west.
Avenue is west.
and they're gonna be on 13th Court.
So you want that triangle
Would be
building?
the east.
No, it's
We're-
back where the warehouses were.
Yes, that's correct.
It's south of where, Kenny, you know where the CrossFit gym is? There,
Yeah, I know where
the
that
CrossFit gym, it's south of that, yeah.
Yeah,
But,
there's a-
you know, something like this is gonna regenerate that whole neighborhood, you know,
Generate how?
Pray.
because it's pretty,
A bunch of people drinking,
14.
and then how they regenerate?
well,
Yeah,
because,
What is the good that they are bringing?
It's actually not.
Let's be serious when we talk.
yeah, that's, it's all warehouses and it's very dilapidated back in there.
So it's on page 14 of your package, you'll see on the Office of the Property Appraiser, you can see the little square building,
Page 14.
page 14.
The yellow building, I mean, the yellow.
Right there. If that helps you with,
It doesn't. but
No.
Okay. That's why I said you were.
well, here's the train tracks.
No, no,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Is this, what is this?
See where the white
Oh, this
is
Mhm.
back in there?
Gas station's over here.
Gas station's on the other side,
Okay.
right?
Yay.
To show up.
Mr.
Okay.
Chair,
Yes.
please acknowledge Miss Estime Irvin is here.
Ah, hello, Mary, how are you? Greg, welcome to join us. Okay, so is there any other questions in reference to, this?
Can we get like 5 minutes to Mary to read?
We had
Because
to
she
jump
will
ahead,
vote.
so we're at agenda item 3,
Okay,
which is the Lost City Brewing Company.
okay.
They're, it's a new brewery on, I gotta read it, let me see. Sorry. So it's at 12207 Northeast 13th Court. It's 4,000 square feet, 1,000 square feet for the tasting, 3,000 square feet for the production. They plan on working and contracting, they're not cooking, but they're gonna be getting food from restaurants to bring them over here. They're asking for 300,000 and for you to entertain this, you have to waive the business attraction guidelines that are at 150,000, and also waive the 50-50 match requirement. They've offered a community benefits letter of, that I've already read into the record. But essentially, they're offering to, by year 5, have, where am I? By year 5, have 10 part-time, positions, that'll train and grow within the company. They're offering to do workshops and train existing businesses in the CRA, and also work with FIU and Johnson & Wales, training their interns in the whole microbrewery and managing business, to help the CRA and the city. So the total cost of the project is $555,000. The lowest contracted bidded amount was $259,951, and they're asking for $300,000. So I think I've caught you up.
Else down there now?
22,000.
Come again?
Is there anything else down there now?
Yeah.
Right.
There's another brewery
I-
opening next to us.
There is.
So
Clark?
I thought that it really isn't a match, it's a grant. Well, it is a grant anyway, right?
Mhm.
But I don't know, it seems a 50-50 rule is
You're saying it was arbitrary?
well, I mean, yeah, I think we at least need to stick to some portion, like a 50-50 rule of some kind. Something that's, so it's not just a free-for-all for anyone that comes in here and says, well, this is what I want, boom, I don't care what it costs, or the cost is not a factor, I just want this much money.
Well, what is it?
What are we investing in? I mean, we're putting up money, and I thought one of the guidelines that when we put money up was that we don't buy furniture and fixtures.
we're not buying furniture. We're paying
Okay,
for
so
the.
can we look at the photos again? What are we actually putting money into, the building, or what?
I think you're better off reading on page 8, which is the total cost of the project, to go over,
Let me,
which is on page 8.
I'm getting all.
Most of the money is on the construction.
Yeah, most of the money's on the construction. The lowest
Right.
bidded amount for the contractor is $259,000.
At least 41,000.
And the 41,000 is
Right.
gonna go towards either the impact fees that they have to pay,
Right.
or the rent during the renovations, because our guidelines allows them to for us to pay for half their rent for the first 6 months during renovation. But after that, the rest is their match
It's also, it's like brew house equipment.
that they would cover on their match.
Especially theirs.
Yeah.
So,
Right, but
out of 300 grand, we're putting down,
259 for the construction,
okay.
and then the 41 would go towards the impact fees. The Durham impact fees.
Where's the impact?
It's on top there, it says Durham
Right.
impact fees, line number 3.
Durham impact 50 grand?
50,000.
Yeah, so we'd
yes.
put 41 towards that. And then,
they're lucky they got out with 50.
yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Yeah.
usually it's more.
And
Yes.
then the rent.
No.
That's the county, not the city, I'm just saying the county. That's,
100 is normal for a large facility.
so, and the rest of the cost, again,
Is the
would be their match.
Well, the rent too.
Well, for
Half the rent.
what they're asking us, if you do the math, we'll cover the construction and the impact, and then the rest would be
Oh.
theirs. You know, however you split it.
All right.
You
Clark?
said rent. I didn't say rent.
Well, I recommend that we stick, that we could, I think it's a good project.
Right.
I
You
don't
know,
think so.
If we ever
I
get
wanna
some,
talk again.
if we ever,
That's not a good project, don't look at me like that. It's a bunch of drunk people in the other side, close to my house, in my neighborhood, drinking. Where are those parking lots for all those cars? Those people, have you ever go to Wynwood?
Yeah.
To see those
Mhm.
people?
Mention-
I pray
Right.
we become a little bit like Wynwood. That's
Right.
what
Yeah,
And-
but a
but-
little bit like.
But we've already
Little
funded
bit.
a brewery
I
for
would
that
go
area,
no
and
in
that is,
project.
so that area is zoned, has been zoned by the city for like over 10 years as an arts and entertainment
Right.
district. And that is part of what it is that we're supposed to be doing to revive it. And I'd also remind you that we did fund Discover Brewing. You know, again, their delays has been with the impact, the Durham stuff, so I commend Lost City for actually starting their they're permitting
How
before
many
coming
police
here.
officers we
but
will need there? When
it
those
has-
people go there, more than 50
Well, honey,
people
but they're behind
drinking
them
and all those
paying for it.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope they have a lot of drunk people
I hope
there.
that they do
That
that.
means they're doing a lot, they're very prosperous.
Yeah, I hope we don't
I
have a
hope
lot of
that they
drunk
do that
people.
near your house. Let's see what you will do.
Clark,
Even though I like that.
That's-
okay,
but-
guys,
All right.
ladies and gentlemen, Clark, you had a recommendation?
I recommend that we give them we give a 50% match to their total cost.
So that would be $277,996.
Right, at least keep the, I mean, we're already waiving some things, but at least we keep the match. That keeps, I think that keeps people, you know, with the skin in the game that they ought to have in order to do a project.
This project is gonna cost $555,993.
Mm-hmm, yes, sir.
Total final number on that?
Mhm, mhm.
Okay, now, I'm
What
a
it's really gonna cost is $800,000.
Right.
Yeah,
When they get done with it.
Yeah,
we're expecting the
I'm
cost to
looking at
balloon
and
to
they're
about
asking how much?
700.
Maybe
300,
300.
300,
300.
yes, sir.
And Clark is suggesting 270.
Let's just, we keep a match on, a 50% match
All right,
on their
then.
request.
I'm a little bit, well, not a little bit, I am confused, I've been one that way. Okay, brew house itemized documents for manufacturer include 91,300.
That's not anything we're paying for.
That's theirs,
All right, that's good, okay, corporate construction, we're paying $259,000.
yes.
Impact fees, we're paying 50,000?
41.
41.
Well, if you agree to what Mr. Reynolds agreed to it, then it would be less. But right now, 41.
Then this document's wrong that I'm reading.
No, it's not wrong. It is the total cost of the
We're
project.
just not paying all of the germ, we're only paying a portion of the germ.
I'm showing you,
Right.
we are showing you the whole amount.
That's what the cost is.
And
Our
cost,
contribution
Based
would
on
be
our,
less than that.
Mr. Each, based on our guidelines, we only cover hard costs, okay, which is the build out. We only cover the derm impact fees, a portion of it, and the rent. Everything else would have been their match, which is the furniture and the brew house stuff.
okay. I thought it was a point about parking.
Chris, are you okay?
Yeah.
Chris, are you okay with the 277? Is that gonna have
On the railroad track.
a negative impact? Is
I
that
mean,
gonna have a significant
I,
impact on
I
your?
can tell you guys that the project will
Be more-
significantly cost more than what's listed there. I mean, we've been paying rent for close to a year and a half now, currently. And, I mean, it's, we will eventually go for more, to be able to accommodate others. I mean,
Okay.
you know,
There's
we're
a
gonna be
lot
sort
of
of,
parking back
yes.
there.
Yeah, a
It's
lot of
just not
parking.
a-
Yeah, there is.
I mean,
But-
it's like,
Yeah.
you know,
But-
there's nothing back there.
Clark,
That was the
Can we-
industrial
Gu-
area.
gentlemen,
Yeah, right?
I mean, Kenny, we have plenty, I asked him a question. So going 277, or whatever that exact number is, but in that area, that's not gonna impede your progress at all to a significant nature?
I would not say to a significant nature, no.
Okay, all right, so,
So that's my motion.
okay.
I'll second.
All right, is there any further discussion on that? I think it's a great project, and we wish you all the luck, and,
Thank you.
you know, we'll see you again, I'm sure.
So,
Um,
just, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but Mr. Attorney, for the record, they have to, one, waive,
Oh, yes, we have to waive.
make a motion to waive the guidelines?
It's a
Just,
motion to advise the board to waive,
Okay.
basically.
A suggestion for us to,
Can you
No,
do
it's
that for me?
because you're the advisory.
okay.
Committee, you make a
You're the
recommendation, but
advisory committee.
need him to make
Okay,
a motion,
so
right?
that's the initial motion.
Yes,
So the motion is a grant in the amount of
277,
277.
50% match of the 277, which is a 50% match of their projected total cost.
Right.
And also recommending to the board that they waive the maximum
$150
amount
match,
of
yeah.
$50,000.
$150,000.
Right, now they have two separate motions.
$150,000, not dollar,
Counsel?
said dollar.
Okay. All right, Clark, okay, so there's two parts of your motion,
Right.
correct?
Okay.
Ms. Couch, are you comfortable with that?
Okay, all right, any further questions? All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, one opposed?
Yes, Mr. Sanchez
Mr.
may,
Sanchez.
Always.
Oh,
That's not true.
okay,
so it's.
all right, Chris, thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. Thank you, gentlemen.
See you next week.
Okay, now we move
Go
back to
item number 2.
And I have to,
Mr. Reynolds, can you please
recuse yourself.
I'm recusing myself from this, because
request?
these people are my tenants. And, I shouldn't be involved in something that might financially impact me.
Correct, so, and you'll file the appropriate paperwork as you have in the past with
Yes.
respect to this item.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, don't leave, because I have some announcements tonight.
Oh,
Yeah, don't even.
Don't go to the microbrewery yet.
Yeah, yes, sir.
That south of it, is that where the, Wayman Cadillac, Ocean Cadillac has a place down there, Bobby Fender place?
Yeah,
And then it's just on.
I don't think it's that far.
yeah, it's that area back
This is not on the west side, this is on the east side, this side.
on the east side, yes.
The east
On
side?
22nd.
It's back in that old warehouse area that's gotten so
Yeah,
run down
I
and,
know the area, yeah.
yeah. No, I think it's a good project, and I think that they'll,
The truck,
Take
you
a right
make it
Yeah.
right,
at the light.
2 buildings down.
Yeah, okay.
okay,
All right,
Rashid?
agenda item number
2?
2. Before you are the owners of Cafe Creme doing business as Shoket's LLC, doing business as Cafe Creme. They initially received a grant of $250,000 to relocate to our downtown. Then they got an additional grant of $70,000 for the increased cost of construction, for a total amount of $320,000. Their move has been very beneficial to the image of the city and to the downtown. Since it opened in 2016, they're attracting new audiences to the downtown. And as a result, you know that we do get a lot of requests for new businesses moving in, looking for spaces, and so on and so forth. The ongoing renovation to the Mocha Plaza this summer negatively impacted their business with construction debris and dust affecting the majority of their seating. As you know, again, the majority of the seating is outside on the plaza. The week of October 9th, we were obligated to close their outside seating so the contractors could replace the pavers and the drainage, essentially shutting down Cafe Creme's business for the week. Additionally, they are burdened with the grant requirement of employing 30 North Miami residents, and so they had to keep the payroll going with their, the employment requirement. At this time, they are not able to continue normal operations without an emergency relief from us. The request is to amend the grant agreement, removing or reducing the minimum jobs requirement that we had put on them. And also, they asked for an emergency relief not to exceed $60,000 to cover the cost of the lost revenue, closing their business for at least 1 week and keeping 30 employees on payroll. A partial payment of $25,000 was made, approved by the executive director to assist in the payroll aspect. In addition to that, I just wanted to mention, because I had mentioned it unofficially before the meeting started, when we started the Mocha Plaza, there were several delays that were not foreseen. For instance, when we started removing the pavers, we found the main road and the sidewalk that was under when it was originally a road. When it was a turning, remember on 123 you can turn? So whoever had done it only put sand in the pavers on the road. The road was not removed. They didn't take out the sidewalk and the road. So when we came on with our contractors, they started uncovering it, they found the road and the sidewalk, which we now had to remove. And that's requiring, the, what do you call it, jacksaw, the hammers, additional dust that was not there. Then when we went under the plaza, we found that whoever did that had set it in cement, not set it in sand. Again, we had to shut them down for a week and bring the jackhammers and hire additional people to, remove the pavers and replace it and so on and so forth. So, the fact that we also had it in their, grant agreement that they needed to maintain payroll for, 30 employees in their thing, which they have complied with. Every 6 months, our grants coordinator, Ms. McDonald, gets their payroll receipts with the employment dates and, the addresses of the employees. So we've asked them to maintain, a payroll for 30 employees, and also we've negatively affected their business. Essentially, because of the dust going into the plaza, businesses went down, people stopped coming, and so on and so forth. Now, we finally finished cutting the pavers and the dust. As you can see, we're putting in the lights. We're still delayed by 3 weeks, but it won't affect their business now. However, they did discuss it with the executive director, Mr. Spring, And they said that, we essentially, slowed or killed their business, and we had asked them, they had to maintain the payroll. So, the request is one part, which is amending the grant agreement to reducing the number of employees that we had, and minimum number of employees that we had put on them. We either reduce it to 10 or to 0, and also to approve not to exceed $60,000 emergency relief to cover their past expenses and the loss of business that was caused. And one last sentence, a statement I want to make. The Mocha Plaza, because I think somebody had asked me about it a while ago, the Mocha Plaza was always in our plan. It was in our downtown plan to do. When I first came on board, we were working on it. But if you remember, that's when, Babacar was here.
Right.
The former director was here. We painted the building to a different color. We started working on it, and then, divorce happened. Then we had the interim director, Natasha. I have to say it this way, that Natasha. Then we were working with their chairman, Mr. Frederick, right? And that also, we had an impasse. So at that time, we had to take over the project, meaning the city and the CRA. And Mr. Geimer, Jeff Geimer, is the project manager who graciously took it on for us to get it done. So it wasn't our plan to do. We intended to get it done before Cafe Creme opened, but with all these other delays, we were not able to get it in that time frame. In a perfect world, the plaza would have been done, and then they would have, moved in. But that's not how it happened. And we are now, wrapping it up and finishing it off. The gentlemen are here. In your packet also, you'll see they sent reports of their lost revenue from their CPA. And, the gentlemen are here to make their case and to ask you to allow them to make those two changes.
Just want to make sure you get the updated one,
Okay.
the October loss, which was much worse than what we were expecting.
Right, you didn't give enough copies. Can you get, I'm sorry,
It's
can
okay.
you pass it on to the attorney, please? Because I need that for him.
Okay. Everyone, good evening. So,
Your name and address?
my name Claude Postel. My address is 15 East 50 Terrace, Miami 33137. And I'm a co-owner of Cafe Creme. So, what Russia say about the dirt, the noise, it's one part. We have also, all these fence who customer call us and ask us if we are open, and that's another trouble we have, and as Vasha say, we keep all the staff working, we're not working but paying, and we lose some money we have on the side, and now the side is half, so we need really help, for all the inconvenience we have.
Corey?
Hi, yeah, I'm Corey Fino, co-owner of Cafe Creme. So as you can see on the total loss, since the beginning of the construction, we lost $76,000.
They sent an updated sheet just now.
Last month,
Which,
we lost 43,737. So what you can see is that at the beginning people were coming, and then they get tired of the construction. So now we saw a big drop in the month of October. So we are extremely concerned about the wellness of our business. We don't know if we're going to be able to survive. At this point we have all those employees that we need to pay. We have all those customers that don't want to come. A lot of you are customers, and a lot of you have suffered from the dust. We are very much for the improvement. We understand that's going to be good for us, but now we don't even know if we're going to be still open when the construction is over. So that's our main concern. Right now we had some savings, we had some money aside. Every single week we see the bank account dropping. You know us. We are very hard worker. We're always on top of our business. We're on top of and to see that collapsing so fast, it's a little bit scary for us. We had a 14% increase from the beginning of the year until the construction started. And now you can see, I mean, we're like almost at 40% down, you know, so
How many total employees do you have?
we have 32 employees.
32 employees?
Yeah.
And you want to take that down to 10?
No, no.
Well,
the-
I propose that they reduce it, and I propose the 10. I mean, our previous applicant just proffered 10, and that seems to be an appropriate, for North Miami residents,
Yeah,
like the minimum requirement for North Miami residents. That doesn't mean they're not gonna hire more, but, to alleviate future burdens, because the issue is like, if they don't have those 30 employees when we check, then they're not in compliance, then they're in default.
Okay.
Do you see? So they can still, they will probably still have 32, you know, when business grows, you know, back.
Right.
But the fact that we have as a minimum requirement, and when we check them every 6 months, it's, you know, it's an issue.
I think that's a kind of an undue burden. I mean, it's, you know, if they only have 32, we're basically requiring that 98% of their employees are North Miami residents, which I don't know anything.
So just to give you the history of it, we had used that as the formula because Pollo Tropical was one of the large projects that we had funded way back in 2012, and
Right.
they had proffered 20 employees for 250,000. And by the way, our attorney can confirm, when we came back to monitor them, they were not in compliance for several years, because even though they had the 20 employees, but not all of them were North Miami residents. So it is somewhat difficult, but at that time, no, they unfortunately, they let go of the non-North Miami people instead of giving us back our balance.
They cured the default.
They cured the default by replacing, you know, yeah.
What do they do?
They fired the non-North Miami residents and hired North Miami residents.
They hired North Miami residents.
Yeah, but like for the years before that, since 2012, it was always, you know, but the issue, what I was trying to make is that we use that as the formula then, because when they applied, we didn't really have a basis for, okay, the jobs would make sense. And so they had agreed with us because, you know, Pollo was getting, you know, that was the formula we used. But now, looking at best practices and all these grants that we've given, we can tell that, you know, 30 is
30
is a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I think
So, yes.
Go, Mary, you were going to...
Right, so I want a motion that we go ahead and help them out, but we just leave it to 10, making sure that it's 10 North Miami employees.
I second that.
Yes.
Okay.
Third.
Well,
Mr. Sanchez,
okay, well,
okay.
what I can tell you is that I know for a fact, because I do go there, so I can tell you a fact, there has been tremendous business interruption there. There really has, you know.
Well, they're done, right now they're putting in the lights on the plaza and then the landscaping. They were trying to do a ribbon cutting for like the 15th, but on November 15th, but the contractor feels it's too soon because they have to test the lighting sequences. But in terms of dust and all that stuff, you know, we're pretty much, we're 90% done. But it's still gonna affect them for another 2 weeks. We need to make sure that we're done before Thanksgiving so they won't kill us.
Yeah, well,
You
I
know?
mean, if people see that green fence up there still,
Yeah.
and everybody thinks that things are closed, or that it's dirty, or that there's
Right.
construction
Yep.
still going on.
Yep.
So maybe there's no extra dust, but it just looks like there's
Yeah,
Mhm.
not as much open.
yeah.
Don't get any dust in the Jamesons.
Okay. Okay, anyway, we have a motion and a second on the table. Do we have any further discussion?
Ms. Geimer? No. No? Okay.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
No,
Okay.
no, I am not opposed. I am
He
in
voted
favor.
yes.
Don't look at me.
Oh, okay.
Okay, 7-0.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see
All
you
right,
on the 13th.
thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
All
you,
right,
everyone,
I do
and
have,
a good day.
Excuse me.
I do have several announcements to make.
What
Okay.
happened to the rest
You can
of it?
rejoin us, Clark.
What happened to the rest of it?
What rest of it?
We didn't give them any money.
She said, yeah, but she approved
Yeah.
our
I thought it
recommendation,
was
which was
just-
60. No more than 60.
Everybody here gets
Yeah.
a free piece of quiche.
Yeah, right
Oh,
now.
well, I voted no for that.
I guess
Oh,
I
you
probably
did?
I thought we were just voting on.
Well, then we need to bring it
cut
back,
it down
Mr.
to
Attorney.
10.
Oh, is
She
there?
can change her vote if she wants to change her vote.
I thought we
we were
It could be
just voting
recorded
on the
as a
10
no if she
people.
wants to be
Yeah.
recorded.
Okay.
No, she combined both of them.
She combined both.
The word that I
Yes.
used was.
So yes for
Right.
minimum and 6-1 for the funds, okay?
So just as a point of clarification though, the proposed amendment to the grant agreement
Yeah.
had a deletion of the job creation and retention section in total. So does staff want to go forward with that to the board, or does
No, the
staff want to
10
go forward with
The 10 minimum,
Okay, so we'll revise the.
thank you.
Yeah.
Alright. Alright, next item on the agenda, I went to the FRA conference. Thank you so much, Ms. Irvin and Mr. McDermott for attending. Mr. Genti also attended. It was very informative.
Very.
Unfortunately, we didn't win any awards. You know, Boynton Beach CRA beat us, Pompano Beach CRA beat us. But I think next year will be better and we'll knock them out of the park. Boynton Beach CRA and Pompano Beach CRA. I mean, they have a lot of, when you look at it, they have a lot of brick and mortar like projects that
Right,
were
going on.
happening. So I think we're almost at that point.
Okay.
The Irons Manor Historic Fountain will have a groundbreaking ceremony November 14th at 4 p.m. It's
Right.
on, and anybody who doesn't know where that is, it's on West Dixie, the cross between West Dixie Highway,
November 14th at what time, I'm sorry?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
Northeast
Or 9
100.
Or 9 PM till 9.
You got an email, I had Sam, I said Sam,
Right.
about 100 years old. And as you recall, you voted to renovate it and also to do the beautiful crosswalks and restore it to its splendor. So that's November 14th.
Splendor at one time?
Yeah, it was Splendor at one time. So that's November 14th at 4 p.m. I just wanted to make sure you were aware of it. Sam Blatt is supposed to be sending you an invitation.
He did.
I hope you can make it.
He did.
The other item is, because of Hanukkah, our regularly scheduled advisory committee meeting, which would have been December 3rd, will need to be pushed to December 10th. Okay, we need quorum. I need,
I can be there.
okay. It's at 6:30, which is the Monday, December 10th, right before the CRA board meeting,
Right.
the 11th. On that agenda, there will be a lot of important items, so I'd like to make sure that you guys are here or paying attention. One of them is the clean team contract. Remember, we finally, I have a great contract. We're piggybacking with this firm that's doing the cleaning for Lincoln Road, Coral Gables, Orlando, CRA, and so on. So that contract will be up. A new updated grant guidelines based on our experience and the requests that we've been getting. The CRA attorney's reviewing the guidelines that I sent to him. There was some requests from one of our council people about making some other changes in the the capacity building grant. So again, the attorney's reviewing it. As soon as he's done, that's also very important. The mobility hub, the train station master plan, Mr. Each.
I'm gonna be out of town.
Okay, well, I'll send you the draft, I'll send you the plan. Some of the delays has been, apart from scheduling things, but we're right now scheduling the one-on-one briefings with the mayor and council, and I was explaining to Ms. Councilman Keys is not here, she was traveling. So it's been a little bit, trying to get
When
the
is that?
consultants.
When's that
So
gonna-
that'll be at the December 10th agenda. Yeah, so we have the grant guidelines, we have the mobility hub master plan, we have the clean team contract to review.
So bring your lunch.
Yes, and there will be some grant requests as well.
I wanted to ask you a question.
Yes,
On-
sir.
On the clean team,
Mhm.
how is that gonna work? Is it gonna have a roof, or like if you see debris out there, can you call it in and have them
It's
come and get it?
twofolds. One, the city created a Clean City Task Force. And I am one of the members of it, but it's chaired by the city attorney and the chief of police. And the city has their own pot of money where they're gonna have several people cleaning the area, and you can call, and it's gonna be on the MyNomi app where there's gonna be a general number to call, but also you can put it on your MyNomi app to say there's debris here and there. Our clean team, like we had it before,
Has to be within the CRA.
yes, but we're gonna start in the downtown. The point is, we're gonna start in downtown and then spread on the major corridors to make an
Alright,
impact.
Let me give you an example.
Mhm.
I go by Arch Creek Canal, and the embankment has been covered with crap for years. I can't
Mhm.
get anybody to clean it up. Last
Mhm.
time it was clean as when I did it 5 years ago.
Mhm.
Alright, I wanna call it in. I gotta wait till they get out of downtown before they get over there?
No, they're not gonna go to Arch Creek. The CRA team is not going to Arch Creek, that's the city's team. So you're gonna call there's gonna be a number for you.
16th Avenue isn't in it, that's
It's not in the downtown
So the CRA is just gonna handle the downtown?
for now. We're
Okay, so
starting in the,
city, but even though it's in the CRA district, the city will handle it?
yes.
Okay.
Yes. Just to refresh your memory, we paid for a street cleaner, 281,000. It's coming soon. We customize it and everything. This clean team, what they're gonna be doing is removing all the overgrown grass between the sidewalks, remove the gum, clean all the graffiti on the light poles. They're gonna do all the major corridors, 125th Street, around the downtown, West Dixie, Northeast 6th. That parameter that we call downtown is what they're gonna be hitting up. They have a pressure cleaner. They're gonna be pressure cleaning all the sidewalks, the plaza, anywhere that's public. They're gonna be here from 7:30 a.m. to 3, and then there's an afternoon shift. The other advantage that we have with them is that for events, they will be there as well. And they are giving us 2 ambassadors as part of the deal. So you're gonna have people with uniform, and we haven't determined what it's gonna be, if it's North Miami Sierra or just downtown Nomi. But their job is to be there to escort you to your car, work with the police department if there are any issues, and provide information, especially about the clean team. So the idea is we wanna start with the downtown, cleaning it up, and then we can spread through the rest of the CRA. So we're gonna have the street sweeper, we're gonna have the pressure cleaner, they're gonna have their own pickup trucks. It's gonna be very interesting. When I do the presentation in December, I think I'll email it to you also if you're not, because you said you're not gonna be here, but I think it's very impressive. And like I said, have you been to New Orleans for Mardi Gras? No? What?
When I was
I thought you were
20.
worldly, you've been everywhere. So they're the green shirts that, oh, okay, they're the green shirts that clean up after Mardi Gras. You know, after Mardi Gras midnight, the downtown has to be clean by a certain time. That's them. They have to clean it up by the time that business open, except they don't remove beads from trees until like 12 o'clock or whatever. But that's the company that does it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I
All
hope
right?
we generate enough activity to deserve them.
We will, but that's the thing. You want to have a perception of clean and safe downtown for people to come and walk around and patronize. So,
Okay.
what else? Happy Thanksgiving to you all.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you. And thanks, yes, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Do we have any CRA turn?
No,
No report?
we're good.
Okay. Any old business to come before us?
No?
Any new? Okay, move to adjourn. All in favor?
All in favor?
Thank you, Mr.
Let me make sure.
Yes, sir.
Clock.